We are live. Good morning. This is Walkin' Yap, and I'm Doe. And today we are joined by Jill Jordan. She's a sound healer and sound practitioner. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning. Hello, everyone.
Thank you so much for being here. Now, Jill, let's just jump right in. What is sound healing?
Sound healing is energy medicine, basically. It's been used for thousands of years. It's tracked back to the Egyptian times. And basically, it's the science of healing through frequency. And we can say science because what is science? It's basically evidence-based information that we can repeat over and over to get a result. So, and we can do that with sound. If we know that everything is energy, our bodies are energy, our cells are energy, we all have our own frequency. Our cells have a frequency, our organs, and then we have a composite frequency. And what happens is that when we go through life, maybe it's lifestyle, maybe it's music, maybe it's surroundings, maybe it's exposure to chemicals or pollution or noise pollution. It could be anything. It could be mental, internal stress that starts to get the body out of frequency. So it's kind of like having an orchestra, and the orchestra is playing a symphony. That's the frequency of your body when it's in balance. But when something gets out of balance due to any kind of stress, whether it's an emotional stress or a physical stress, then there's something out of tune. So then you have like this symphony with this out of tune violin trying to play, and you're just like not feeling good. So what sound can do is to send a frequency into the body and around the body that stimulates the balance of a frequency. And that's how sound is used in one way to stimulate healing.
So it's like harmony. Is that why it's called a harmonica?
Yes, it is.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. It has to be in harmony to, your body needs to be in balance and in harmony. And that's why, that's that word homeostasis, is the body is working constantly to stay in balance. If it's not in balance, you get sick, you die. So our bodies are working harder and harder these days. There's just so much coming at us, and there's frequencies all around us. There's frequencies that are obvious to us, as far as television frequencies, or the frequency of the lawnmowers and airplanes, and transportation noise is a tough one on the body. But also then there's the invisible frequencies that are affecting us, that we don't see: microwaves, cell phone towers, internet connections. Those are actual frequencies. And so if the body's constantly working to be in balance, we're going to be faced with more and more stress on the body. That's why it's really important to be proactive and you actually use sound, whether you come to a sound healer or not, but to use sound to your benefit, to understand that you are a frequency, you are a symphony, and you're the one in control of your song. And what can you do to bring that back into harmony, back into its natural resonance, which is the balanced state that it should be in.
Right. Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And that what you're saying from the inside, I know that I posted an article about and did a little video myself about the vagus nerve and how people can hum or sing, and that gets it from the inside. But what you do is you do from the outside, but you don't have a whole symphony. You use those Tibetan or crystal singing bowls.
Right. So I do have a couple Tibetan bowls, which are made of metal, different metals actually in each bowl. And then I have quartz crystal bowls. So quartz crystal singing bowls. So 99.9% quartz crystal from the earth. Here's one of the bigger ones right here. And the difference between the quartz and the Tibetan bowls can be very meditative. They can stimulate healing. They can loosen up stuck energy in the body. But the crystals bowls have even a more healing aspect to them because they are crystal. They are the most organized structure on the planet. This crystal's been here, millions of years. So this, just being in the room with crystal, your cells start to become in balance. You start to feel a relaxation in the body. But then we add sound to that, and it actually is able to surround the body, surround the tissue, begin to stimulate the tissue, the cells, the systems in the body. And this relaxation causes the client to just be relaxed, of course, and have a nice little rest, which in and of itself can cause healing, because when you're in a relaxed state, the body can do its job, right? So, but the sound can also affect on a cellular level and actually bring cells back into their resonance, which is their balanced state. So I use crystal bowls. I use tuning forks. Tuning forks can do the same thing. There's all different kinds of keys, just like with the bowls, each have a key. The tuning forks have keys that can loose up stuck energy. It can use them to pick out stuff out of the person's energy field and remove it from the body. It's kind of like sound surgery, I guess.
And none of this is touching. It's not like, can you show what a tuning fork is for people who maybe don't know? Like, it's not like you poke someone with a fork and get that out of there.
Right.
Just you strike it and it makes a sound, and the waves go through the body just like the waves of any other frequency. So there it is.
How's my lighting? Yeah. So you can strike it on whatever. Let me strike it.
There we go.
You just put it near the body.
Strike one.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then do you do?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Do you do it just one-on-one, like a massage, or do you do small groups, inside, outside?
Yep.
Or is the answer yes to everything?
So I do a lot of private sessions, and that includes a pre-session and a post-session all at once. So you get an hour of, or however long you choose, of the sound healing. And then we talk a little bit before and we talk a little bit after, because I've been doing this now. This is, I think, my 8th or 9th year. And each year, the more that I do and the more access that I have to different frequencies, which I've worked really hard on, just because it fascinates me to learn more, to connect more, to feel more, to see what happens. And so things come through emotionally or mentally sometimes. So we can have a little coaching session after, like, how did it go? What did you feel? This is what I saw. This is what's happening in your body, da, da, da. So you get that on a one-on-one. You also can get that in a couples session, which couples really love, where we do a clearing of both people, clearing up their past, clearing out their body, just kind of bringing them to that 0 point field, so that they're starting their relationship, as equal people on equal footing, leaving the past behind and knowing that, what they have to give is of themselves, but also to receive. It's a very beautiful session. And then I do groups. I do small groups. I do large groups, inside, outside. Yeah, we do different ceremony stuff, different times of the year. I've done weddings and life celebrations. I've helped people cross over. Maybe someday I help somebody be birthed in. That would be cool.
The couple session sounds cool too. Like even just the act of showing up somewhere together and having the intention, and then being in that same, it's only, but it's only those two having that experience. Yeah. That seems really interesting.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned intention, because that's the other really cool thing about using crystal is we know, crystal's used in our computers and our watches, and, it holds information, it stores information.
Yeah.
And so when you set an intention and use crystal bowls and the sound, the harmonics of the sound with the intention, it's a really profound and powerful effect.
I'm wearing a crystal.
Ooh, yeah.
You were saying about the Tibetan is metal, and then the crystal bowls is different. Yeah, metal versus stone. The stone's like a totally different thing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you said that too.
Yeah, there's a big difference. It's something really magical happens. I don't know what else to say, but it happens every time. There's something, a definite improved, system in the body or emotional state or both. I've had people that just came for a group session that would have, older people. I've been to every chiropractor in town and every PT in town, not saying that they're not great. They are. But I couldn't move my back, and now look at me, and there's this guy, and he's like twisting, and I'm like, okay, great, slow down,
That's good. That's good.
yeah. But
um,
people have lost weight and quit smoking, and pain has just disappeared, or blockages that they've had. I'm not. It's not me. I know that I'm just this conduit, and I love what I do, and I'm very present and honored to be a part of this process. And it just kind of happens because of the intention of the client. Well, because of both of our intentions, and because of,
yeah.
and the power of the sound. Sound is very, very powerful.
Now, what about the difference between when people, because I know if you just search online on YouTube, you can see a lot of things where it says sound healing or crystal bowl healing. Is there a difference in person versus online?
I would think so. I think you still get a great benefit online. Um, but I think in person, it's really a unique experience because you can feel and you hear the sounds changing around your body. I've tried to make some of my more recent videos where I actually use in my program, to bounce the sound so that if you're wearing headphones and you're doing it online, you have a similar experience, but you're still going to benefit whether it's online
Yeah.
or in
I was
person.
going to say, like, when I've gone to your sessions or had the sessions in person, I do feel it a lot more. It sounds the same pretty much as when I listen to the ones online, but the online, it feels like it's just in my mind and relaxing to my head. But the in person, it feels like it's my whole body. And I have some major meditations that just, I don't have to try. It just happens.
Yeah, yeah.
So how you said you got into it about 8 or 9 years ago? How did you even find out about it?
I, I was invited to one once, and I went reluctantly a little bit because I have a supersonic hearing ever since I was a little girl,
Oh,
and I've had like little things irritated me. It took me a long time to figure out why I had so much stress in my life. I mean, obviously everyone has stress, but I was very, very jumpy. And anyway, so I found out that my auditory system is much more higher than the average person, which causes my brain to be a little overstimulated and, insomnia and different things. But once I began to understand myself and, how I'm wired and what I can do through meditation and sound, and sound became my friend. It used to be my enemy. um,
yeah.
so I went to this one and it was way too loud and powerful. So I didn't go. And then I was invited to another group session and I wanted to try it. So I had this amazing experience, and it was like an interdimensional shift. I kept going into this dream state that was the most blissful, beautiful, loving place that I had ever experienced and couldn't ever dream of or describe in words. And I would come back into my body, into the room, and then I'd jet back into this dream state. And I was just like, whoa, I didn't want it to end. I just had never felt such love and peace and happiness. And so when she was done, I was like, looked at this woman with these beautiful bowls, and I was like, this is my job. This is my
Where
job.
did I get me some of them?
I
Yeah.
have to learn this. I don't, you know. So I started with one bowl, and then started playing it. People wanted to hear me play and started coming over, and then I just got, a good addiction to crystal bowls and started
Yeah.
buying more and just having sessions at my house and then sessions, at bigger venues. And then I got certified. I was like, well, I see all these healings taking place, um, and I want to know, it's great. I wanted to know why. And I wanted to have some kind of formal, paper so that people can understand that, some people need to know that, I've done my training and they can trust that I know what I'm doing. So I got certified, and And I'm also certified in Reiki, which is another energy healing, and some other energy healing modalities. So they think together that kind of helps. But
What
the
you were
more,
saying about the being sensitive, like that's a whole other thing because a lot of people, even just by being overstressed, they're more sensitive to noises. And I wonder if having the sound healings kind of exposes you to the entire range so that nothing's a shock.
mm,
When
yeah,
everything's quiet and you hear a noise, you're more likely to jump. And
right.
if you're used to hearing noise, a lot of people will sleep with the TV on or have white noise.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that too is a whole other field of healing that worked for you, but
Yeah.
it's not really, people usually do it, for sleep or for certain things and healing in the physical body, but just being stressed, just the actual lowering of your stress and making you less reactive, that would be so healing in itself because every time you react, you have all these chemicals go off in your brain.
Yeah.
So that alone, with nothing else,
Exactly.
worth it.
Yep. Yep. And you
Well,
can do it. You
awesome.
can do it yourself. You can, like you said, with the vagus nerve, you can do some humming or eyeing or singing, nice gentle sounds, the sound of nature, the sound of water flowing. I want you to come and have a session. Believe me, I want you to experience, but I just want people to know that you can use sound in your life without having all these instruments. This is your biggest healing instrument. So we have to remember, we're made of water and space, and what
Hmm.
we're programming ourselves on a daily basis by what we're saying, what we're seeing, what we're watching on the
Right.
television and the internet, and how do we want to program ourselves? Are we do we want to be imbalanced? Do we want to program our bodies with, harmony and peace, or, just constant stress? And that's our choice on a moment to moment basis. And it's our job to do that. We have to take responsibility for that. If we really, really want to live a lower stress and healthy life, we have to do it. I mean, this is 2020.
Yeah,
The
this is the year
world,
to do it, right?
stress is
But you
there.
have a bunch of videos on your YouTube as well. People
Yeah.
don't have to, because you're in Orlando area, right? But if
Yeah.
people aren't in Orlando area, they can still get you.
Yeah.
I'm going to link your YouTube.
Yeah.
Um, and do you have different ones for different things, or is it just pick your pony? How does it go?
Well, yes, I do have some that are, muscle relaxation, or maybe it's for the solstice or the moon. But I do have a list that I'm working on now that are like I have some for chakras. Um, so I'll be focusing on really targeting some subjects. Sleep is going to be one.
Yes.
Reduce stress, and yeah, I have a whole list of them that I'm going to start putting out, and most of them will have binaural beats in them, so we can do like migraine relief, or back pain, or
What's a binaural
sleep.
beat?
Binaural beats is two different frequencies, right? So one's going in one ear, and a different
Ah,
frequency going in another ear.
binaural. Oh, okay, makes sense. Thank you.
and and what happens is we put a tone in this ear and a tone in this ear, and the difference between them creates the frequency brainwave that we want to receive. So if we
Well, and a
want to
whole pathway,
yeah, if we want
because
to
your
go
brain
from,
isn't just focusing the same thing here. It's going, oh wait, it's almost like, yeah, it's creating a new pathway. That's great.
yeah, so it takes what's between. So if we put in like a 220 frequency and a 226 frequency, then that sixth frequency in the middle could drop that person into an alpha state, and then we change that frequency so that you bring them into a delta state. And there's frequency, I've taken so many classes now that I have a whole manual of what frequencies can do what for the body, so I know
Hmm.
how to, and that will just be kind of laid in with the sound. So it'll be the crystal bowls, and sometimes you may hear the tones actually, and sometimes you won't. They'll just be underneath the bowls. But yeah, it's a really, really great way to help balance the brain and the mind.
Yeah. Well, and that's even, I know they're using now ketamine, low dose ketamine to make to kind of erase the old neuronal pathways and allow new ones to form. But if you don't need an outer substance, if you can do something similar, and I know it's, you know, millions of tests, and the FDA would probably have a field day with me if I was saying this, but this is a conversation. We're not prescribing anything. Nobody's a doctor here.
Yeah, God, no.
So anyways, but if you can achieve a similar thing just by listening to something, which it makes sense. If you've got someone talking over here and someone talking over here, it's kind of hard to listen to both of them because we're trained to just listen to one. But if it's doing it in your ears, two different tones, you're not consciously doing it, but that's where your brain takes over. I am fascinated. I'll have to listen to more binaural beat stuff. I didn't know that's what it meant. I thought it was just like a cool name.
No, yeah, I always put
Never
it
mind.
if I ever get sciatica or something like that, yeah, I just put it on. I want to show you guys. I'm gonna see if I can. I wonder if I can switch the. I was hoping I could show you the room. Let's see. Oops, sorry. I'm still here.
Just turn the phone around. Good morning.
Okay. So you come in. There's the bowls. Here's where you would lay for your session. And I have some sacred art and instruments that I bought around the world. There's my certification stuff. And then,
Nice.
Yeah, just motivational stuff. So here's all the bowls. Each one's a different key. I hope this is working. This is a gong.
So I heard a rumor that you're going to play us a song, Bowl Woman. That's a new song, you know?
Yeah.
It's like Billy Joel, but updated for 2020.
I also have now a crystal fork, which is really cool.
Look at you.
It's a 528 frequency, which supposedly some people say it can amplify the frequency of love, whatever the frequency.
Well, I love it.
Thanks. I love it too. I'm going to put this on a mount. How's that? See if that works.
There we go. Perfect. So I'm gonna be quiet until you say okay. That way I'm not gonna interrupt anything.
How long of a concert do you want?
Just go for it. I don't know.
Here, I want you guys to hear this first. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk though, because if people want to hear it and experience it,
okay,
then they could just hear it. But yeah, we can hear it fine.
I think that's a good sample.
Those are beautiful. Thank you. And you can really hear when you go around in the circle or when you hit on the side of it that it's not just a single tone, that it goes wow, wow, wow. You can hear the frequency going. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of clicking, which I think it's something in our connection or something, but just to let people know that when you go to her YouTube, there's no clicking on there. It seemed to go when it was getting a bit higher, be a little tap, 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 and I thought it was me, so I stopped for a minute and I froze. And then I realized there was a police officer right across the street, and it looks like I have the camera on him. I started walking again, but it wasn't.
That's hilarious.
I don't know. I was like, oh man, I'll keep this to myself for now. But those are
Well,
beautiful.
it's interesting that live stuff does affect high frequency. So this is very high frequency harmonics, and it does affect, live feeds sometimes, which I kind of take that as a good thing. It means that we are really ramping up the frequency. And if we think about, a sound frequency, right? It goes up and down, like your heartbeat, like your EEG, measuring your brain. Well, the sound wave is doing the same thing through the air. We can't see it, we hear it. That's how it gets to our ear, obviously. But it's moving through the air. It's getting to our tissue. It's going through our tissue. It's hitting us. It's causing that reflection in all different, directions, just like a pebble in a pond. Every sound is, magnifying out infinitely. So when it's coming through, it's hitting you, it's hitting the phone, it's hitting all kinds of things, but it really offers an opportunity to stimulate healing and just balance the state of everything, of the world.
When you're saying that, it's making me even think of all the computer screens and all the TV screens when they have people singing, or when there's people yelling at each other on different things, and how sometimes if you have the screen on, you can't really avoid, during certain times of year, people on TV just yelling at each other. Yeah. But to be able to turn that off and to introduce into your home and into yourself these harmonic sounds and these beautiful sounds, that's probably going to make a real big difference just in how you feel in general, without having to try to feel better or happier. I play classical music a lot too in my house. Yeah. I heard that Baroque, you probably already know this, but Baroque music has all the different notes in it and they go up and down. So I usually have that on.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I used to, in college, I would listen to Bach or Mozart while I was studying. And there's a book called The Mozart Effects, which is amazing. And it's basically, that babies listening to Mozart in the womb and growing, the first couple of years of life are more intelligent. And it's with the brain, with the neuronal pathways and the binaural beats, if it is something that's going rapidly through a bunch of notes and that's what's happening, that would just make sense while their brains are developing and having to pay attention to and create pathways to be able to interpret and process all those things. Yeah, it is.
Well, we're smarter now, aren't we?
Yeah. I wonder if it's your mic that's clicking.
I totally stopped and I shut off the audio.
Oh yeah.
That's what I said. I think it must be with the connection.
Yeah.
Girl, I went through it. I did it. I've done it, and I don't know why it's doing it. It hasn't done it before, but.
What's cool is we can choose these harmonies, and if we don't, we're at the mercy of all the other stuff coming in. I mean, I haven't watched the news in 15 years. I still know what's going on. Don't get me wrong. I see the headlines and people tell me when there's a hurricane coming, but there's a lot of frequency that's just encoding you when you're stuck on, fear-based media, whatever that may be, or scary movies. And, I like movies too, but just if you're just bombarding yourself with frequencies that are frightening your nervous system, you're gonna live in a state of stress. And you can, if you'd like to do that, that's fine, but just balance yourself out. Go in nature, do some singing, put some music on that is going to help balance the body, because our bodies need it. We have to be proactive. We're living in a world that is unfortunately, not the most conducive for the human health right now. And so we really need to be proactive and live soundly.
Yeah. And maybe if you have noise on at night, don't have it be like a news channel
Oh,
Because then
please.
you'll have that going through your dreams all night.
It's really
But maybe those things, if they're entertaining, have it like ice cream. It can't be your main meal.
yeah, I love
Have a
that.
little bit, sure, but it's not something that's banned, but just know and to be aware of and recognize that's what's going through your body and affecting you.
Yeah, I've used YouTube hypnosis and
Uh-huh.
binaural stuff. They have so many sleep hypnosis stuff that in sleep
Yeah.
meditations, it's like, oh, I can work on my inner stuff while I'm sleeping. Great. And it helps
Yeah.
me
And I
fall
sleep a
asleep.
lot better.
Yeah.
I can't wait until you have your 9-hour chakras bowls one. I know it probably takes a while to do it. Not
Yeah.
like you can do it in one sitting.
Yeah.
But I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that one.
I'm working on a bunch
Well,
of
that
things.
was very beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. So I will link your website and Facebook. See, I'm stopped and it's still slapping.
Hmm.
It's just
That's
gonna
because
do
we're
it
so
when it's
powerful
gonna do it.
together.
I need some sound healing, so this is not gonna irritate me. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it is. I haven't done it before. But I'll put your YouTube and your website and your Facebook and probably Instagram.
One more
And thank you
thing.
so much. Okay.
One thing for the sound of silence can also bring you into peace, which is free. And if you listen, I can hear the sound of the earth. I can hear the sound of the atmosphere. I mean, that's probably just because I'm a sound, cray cray. But if you just listen to that silence between the sounds, that's another way to bring balance, and use sound to improve your life. I just wanted to add that.
Thank you so much.
But also
All
come
right,
for
Jill.
session. I'm having a discount too.
All right. Thanks, Jill.
Thanks, Del.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.